Hi there. Today we're going to talk about Platoon by Steve Heaney, MC, and Damien Lewis. Damien Lewis has written and also co-authored numerous books on military history, especially special forces. Uh, the title refers to the Pathfinders, and I first really heard about the Pathfinders from one of the guys, Mark, who attended our bodyguard course, and he was a member of the Pathfinders, and he told me something about it. It was pretty much an unknown entity outside of the military, and he was extremely fit, great guy, and as I say, that was my first knowledge of this unit. And Steve Heaney, who's the author of the book, served in the unit, and he actually becomes a legend in the unit. There are other autobiographies from people who served later on, and talk about Steve Heaney as I say, an absolute legend. And it's always interesting when someone who attains that um, level of respect to read their story about when they started out, and there's people that they're looking up to who become who are their role models, and the challenges they face uh, getting into the unit, um, which is obviously the basis for their subsequent reputation. So Steve Heaney served in the parachute regiment, and amongst other things, he boxed for them, and he decided to join or have a go at joining this little known unit, the Pathfinders, basically the eyes and ears of the Airborne Brigade. So the group of candidates are all gathered together in a corner of the uh, parachute regiment's base in Aldershot, and the DS um, tell them they're going to go through a phase called magic moments, and off they go. And this it's basically a severe beasting, uh, uphill, down dale, all around Aldershot, um, carrying your partner up the top of a hill. He carries you, running up the hill, back down, carry partner again, um, hopping, doing all sorts of things until at the end of about an hour and a half of this, the DSA, right, is everyone warmed up? Off we go. Lots and lots of challenges, pulling trailer along laden with full jerry cans, uh, crawling through a length of pipe half filled with water, and then when you come out the other end, find out there's another five of these pipes to go through. It's freezing, it's the winter, by the way. And then after several hours, the ordeal is over and they're gathered back, and they're told that that is just something the DS like to throw. It's not actually even the start of selection yet. That will start the following day. And it's a kind of sickener to get rid of people who really haven't got the commitment. And the selection uh, program for the Pathfinders is a condensed form of the process used by the Special Forces, uh, the SAS. So some of the distances and weights are the same, but it's crammed into a shorter time. So there's the hills phase, the famous fan dance, and so on. That's compressed into a week. And then there's a tactics phase where they learn the SOPs of the unit and so on. There's resistance to interrogation, and there is a final exercise where they have to uh, perform reconnaissance tasks as a patrol while being gauged and assessed by a Pathfinder DS. So the culture of the unit, it is not, um, strictly speaking, classed as a special forces unit in the UK, although it is special forces in everything but name only. And this is kind of reflected in the budget. However, when you think about the things that the Pathfinders do, the two main um, areas of expertise are mobility operations using specially adapted um, jeeps and motorcycles, much the same way mobility troops of the SAS operate, and military freefall, tactical freefall. Uh, so, with, particularly with the specialty of freefall, which is usually the preserve of special forces, as I say, they are SF in everything but name, and they do a lot of things that uh, would be regarded as special forces tasks. Um, a kind of glimpse at the culture was they Pathfinders are located within a large base, and the commander of that base, who was a woman, calls the Pathfinder boss in one day and moans to him that his guys don't salute her, and he says, "Well, they won't salute me, so you've got no chance." So that's kind of the culture of the unit. Among many of the operations described by Steve Heaney that he took part in are jobs in Central America, uh, operating in anti-narcotics roles. Um, they really operate all over the world, but one very significant operation was Kosovo, and they were flown out, and they were told that uh, they're all sort of milling about, and they gather together and told that their job is to go and seize Pristina airfield, because there's a Russian column on its way to seize it, and it was very important that NATO get hold of it first. And the guys are kind of looking at each other and counting how many they've got to go and drop onto this airfield and have a confrontation with the Russians. And it was more or less regarded as a suicide mission. And fortunately, Mike Jackson, who was the brigade commander, um, goes to Wesley Clark, the American boss, who was in overall command, and basically told him it wasn't on, and he was prepared. He actually threw his legend has it, he threw his rank slides on the table and says, I'll put my job on the line. We're not doing it. And wiser heads prevailed, and they didn't, and the suicide mission never happened. And in the event, Kosovo was widely regarded as a success. So the book really does go into all this kind of thing. It's a fascinating insight into a very little known unit. There's another book by Steve Heaney, which I will no doubt review, and as I say, a couple of other biographies by people who served while Steve Heaney was the kind of legend within the unit, which makes it interesting. Uh, but it's a book that I really do recommend, and it gives you an insight into what I keep saying is a very little known part of our military special operations